Let it scare you. Let it stretch you. The version of you that it stretches is not the one that's living that reality. It's the version of you that's living your current reality. So of course it's going to stretch you. If it feels comfortable, safe, and normal, you're not going big enough. It's here. And the fact that you are dreaming about it, envisaging it, desiring it, shows that it's actually showing up in your field as a potential, as a possibility. So you don't have to create it. You don't have to make it happen. You do, however, need to make it well. The universe is abundant in what it wants to provide for you, more so than what you're allowing yourself to dream into being at the moment, more so than you are allowing yourself to receive. Hey, gorgeous soul, welcome back to the Abundance Club podcast. What is happening in the club today? I have an exciting episode for you. This is one that you're going to want to save, come back to, share with your mates, because I am sharing in this episode how to manifest something specific. I don't often do these episodes. A lot of the work that I do as a manifestation mentor is from soul. It's from a spiritual perspective. And even in what I'm sharing today, this is around how we co-create something specific still alongside the divine. But I believe that the actual end product is really just the inherent byproduct, like the icing of the cake. And really this journey in manifestation is about your becoming, is about you coming back into remembering who you are. And when you do that, you naturally line up with the highest outcomes that are available for you. But today, I really want to look at what happens, because we have these desires and we are in a three-dimensional world. So yes, it's nice to have the nice home. We want to maybe have the nice car. Like if that's how life wants to express itself through you by you having those things, then great. It's okay to want, it's okay to have, but we really want to look at what's underneath that as well. But I thought I would gift you with this episode that you can come back to when there is something specific that you just want to call in. I shared in episode way back into episode number 2 how I manifested my dream beachside home. It's a really popular episode. I've had so many people reach out to me, say how much they loved that episode, because I kind of spilled the tea around the process that I went through to manifest my dream home that I still live in. It overlooks the ocean. It is amazing. I thank the universe every day for it. So I want to look at, like, I become very good at being able to manifest some of those specific things. I want to share that with you today. So before we dive in, as always, I would love it, please, if you could, if you haven't already, hit the follow or the subscribe button on whatever platform that you are listening on. That's your way that you stay in the club. And be sure to share this episode with someone that you love if you get benefit from it, which I know that you will. The first thing I want to say is this: your manifestation, whatever it is, and you know in your heart what it is right now, you're listening to this episode already knowing what it is that you want to co-create, that you want to manifest into your world. I want to tell you right now, plain and simple, it already exists in the quantum field. It's already alive. It's here. And the fact that you are dreaming about it, envisaging it, desiring it, shows that it's actually showing up in your field as a potential, as a possibility. So you don't have to create it. You don't have to make it happen. You do, however, need to make it welcome. What do I mean by that? We live in a world of energy. We live in a world of vibration. So in order for you to call that in, you have to become the vibratory match for it. Now, these can just be really nice concepts that we hear. What do we mean by that? That's what we're going to dive into today. Okay, I'm going to give you that how, because everybody always wants to know the how. And so this is what we're going to explore today. So my home that I'm in, my dream home, and I've manifested some amazing homes in my life, in my lifetime. I didn't create it. It existed here already. And I'm sure that there were a number of potentials for me. So if you were wanting to manifest something specific, like a home, like a car, like a job, undoubtedly there are multiple potentials for you. The one that you receive is the one that you make yourself available for, the one that you observe, the one that you become a match for, the one that you make yourself available to receive. That's what I want to talk to you about in this episode. And here's the thing, for me personally, when I have manifested some of these amazing things in my life, it's not like this home in particular, it's not the one that I thought would be possible based on the evidence that I had on hand, right? Which was our budget, the money that we had in the bank, the type of home, how popular it would be. Like this one in particular had this wow factor. You walked in and you could see the ocean. I have literally the best ocean views pretty much in our suburb. It's amazing. So it's not the one, and this is my first point. You need to let your dream, your desired manifestation, whether that's a soulmate partner, a house, a job, whatever it is, you need to let the dream be bigger than what makes logical sense to you, because we're not creating with our mind. If we're creating with our mind, we're going to be making those dreams, desires, and goals based on logic, based on what we can see with our 5 logical senses. And most people operate in that dimension and that frequency. So you're only going to call in what you feel is possible for you based on the evidence that you have. If that's you, this is not the podcast for you, or maybe it is, right? But it's going to challenge you because that's not the dimension that we are playing on. We're playing in infinite possibility. We are playing in infinite potential. So we've got to throw out straight away what makes logical sense, what on paper is possible for you. I'm sorry, but we've got to throw that out because God has no budget. So why do you? And this will look specifically if, there's a transaction that needs to happen with you buying a home or a car or something like that. But we can also relate this to a soulmate partner, right? You might think, well, I can't really ask the universe for someone who is, I'll say this as a woman looking for a man who is good looking and funny and wealthy and blah 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 blah. Like we limit ourselves in our dreams all the time, and God's not sitting there, the universe isn't sitting there going, well, yeah, you can't have all of that. It's not on a budget, right? So do not, please, first and foremost, do not limit yourself in your dreams and your manifestations, right? To make yourself available for the miraculous, you have to be able to elevate your standards. You have to be able to elevate your consciousness out of what is probable and into the realm of infinite possibilities and infinite potential. How do you do this? You don't make your dream or your goal based on the current version of you, right? The current version of you who's living your reality doesn't have that desire at the moment, or they don't have the manifestation of that desire. They're not living it. So why would you make a dream or desire based on your current identity? And most people will do this, right? Or they'll go for a big dream, but then they won't know how to shift, because this is the next part. So I don't want you to make your dream based on your current version of you. I want you to make it based on your limitless potential, based on the millionaire version of you, based on the multimillionaire version of you, based on the version of you who knows that they're so worthy, that they're lovable, that they're irresistible, that they are magnetic. Now, this might feel like a jump, and I want it to feel like a jump. This might feel like a stretch. Good. This might scare you. Good. But you will have the opportunity, which is the big part of the work. You then have the opportunity to bridge that gap with your consciousness, to elevate your consciousness, because your dream exists on another level of consciousness than what you are currently dwelling in. Now, the same goes with something. If you're wanting to manifest a solution to a problem, if there is something in your life that's challenging you, the solution doesn't exist on the current level of consciousness that you are dwelling, because life wants us to evolve and to elevate. So let your dream scare you a little bit. You know, one of the first things, not the first thing, but one of the first things I felt when I walked into this home, the first thing was this knowing, and I've had this with both of my last two houses. I've walked in and it was just like this knowing. That was the first emotion. It's like, oh, I think this might be it, right? It's a knowing, it's a resonance. It's like almost like I've been here before. I've seen this play out. The second thing that I felt was fear. Oh, wow, this is scary because this is beyond, this is better than what I thought possible. Okay, so that's the kind of energy that you're playing in. Let it scare you, let it stretch you. But the version of you that it stretches is not the one that's living that reality. It's the version of you that's living your current reality. So, of course, it's going to stretch you. If it feels comfortable, safe, and normal, you're not going big enough. And if that's where you want to dwell, that's okay. That's fine. And most people will stay in that realm of what's available to them within what's within reason, what's within budget. Ugh, I don't like any of that talk. I've never had a budget in my life. I do not budget because that's not what I identify with. So the next thing you want to look at then is, who is the version of me who's living that reality? Okay, it's not the current version of me because it doesn't exist right now. So if it's a soulmate relationship, he or she, they're not in my life right now as the current version of me. So who is that version of me? You are going to get to know them, who they are, how they feel. This is an evolved version of you. What does it feel like to live in that house, right? This is where we bring our energy, our imagination. So if you work with me in manifestation mentoring, these are some of the things that we go through to close the gap, to bridge the gap, to evolve your identity. What's it feel like to live in that house? What's it feel like to drive that car? What's it feel like to be in that relationship, right? We have to be able to dwell in the frequency of our future, of that desired reality, more than we dwell in our conditioning, more than we give airtime to our fears and our limiting thoughts that are going to try and pull you back and under. And this is why so many people will have the dream, but it will never actualize because they're playing in their limitation and they're giving way too much credence and airtime to a version of themselves that doesn't believe it's possible. Which is why, again, work with a coach or mentor that can see your vision with you, that can hold your vision until you get there and you catch up and you bridge the gap. And what bridges the gap, my friends, is your becoming. This is the work. This is the secret sauce. The other thing I want to say, and that's the work that I do with clients, that's the work that we do in our programs. The other thing I want to say about this is, let your fears and doubts exist, right? Your fears and doubts are going to be there. The resistance is going to be there. I spoke about this. I was interviewed on a podcast this morning, and I said, like, if you are waiting for you to be clear of your fears, for you to be clear of your doubts, for the universe to just like this golden door to open up, it's like, whoa, you're ready and everything's aligned, you are going to be waiting a really long time. So you are going to be asked to make a move with the doubts, fears, and resistance. Everything that I've manifested in my life, have I had fears? 100%. But the difference is you choose to not let them lead. You choose to not let the fearful part of you make the decisions. You choose to not let that aspect of you rule. So when you do that, who are you letting make the decisions then? The soul aspect of you. That's what we tap into in this work. Our soul embodied version of you, the one who knows they are bigger than their mind, they're bigger than the roles they play, they're bigger than the fearful thoughts. When you align with that version of you, you can manage the fear, you can manage the doubts, you learn to see it for what it is. It might try to pull you under, but it never will when you learn how to align with your soul identity. When you learn how to refine your self concept, you do the identity work, you write a new script, you release yourself out, you untether from the old identity stories. the old self concept that's trying to, remember, this part of you is trying to keep you in the same. It doesn't want you to go after that big vision. It doesn't want you to be in that new soulmate relationship because that's scary, because it's not existing in your current reality, which means it exists in the unknown. The unknown is a death threat to our nervous system, to the version of us that wants to stay the same. Because sameness means I'm alive. The unpredictable and the unknown is danger. So this is where we work with our body. We can't manifest from the mind alone. That's only going to do one part of it. We have to bring our body on board. We have to learn how to create a new level of familiarity and safety with what is unknown and unfamiliar. So it's a big part of this work. So the next thing is, the next point around this is relaxed expectation. And this is letting go of the grip of the attachment. I have had seasons of my life when I've tried to manifest something and I can look back and see how much I was trying to control the outcome, how grippy I was to, how attached I was to the certain. So say if it was a house, just continuing to use that as an example, I was so attached to the outcome. And life loves you so much. And I know I say this all the time, but it really does. The universe is loving. Even when we're going through these tests, even when we feel like we miss out on something, it's preparing us. And the way that it prepares us, it tests and challenges us to relinquish the control, to work in partnership with the universe. And so our role then is this relaxed expectation. You learn to trust that what is meant for you cannot miss you. You learn to trust in divine timing because you know and you understand the way that that is preparing you so that you can become the version of you that can receive this and hold the manifestation. We don't want to lose it like lottery winners do, right? We want to be able to hold, receive that manifestation. So relaxed expectation comes from trusting in the bigger unfolding, trusting in the higher plan while you open yourself to receive that. You become available for that. So, again, nervous system work comes into this piece as well. And looking at, a lot of women that I work with, a lot of women that I see trying to create things in their life, they're not actually available to receive. Their receptivity channel is closed. It's limited. If you are coming up to a big waterfall, right, and the big waterfall represents the abundant universe of everything that's available for you, everything that you could ever desire and more, right, because it's infinite. And you're coming up with this really small little cup because that's at the moment representing your capacity to receive. Maybe you get uncomfortable when somebody buys something for you or gives you a compliment or wants to treat you, or you get uncomfortable doing that for yourself. You haven't learned how to expand your vessel to receive. So if you're going up to this waterfall with this teeny tiny cup that represents that capacity, what happens? Doesn't matter how much the universe pours into you, you can't hold it, you can't receive it. So it just passes through. So this is where we do the work to expand our capacity to be a receiver, because the universe is abundant in what it wants to provide for you, more so than what you're allowing yourself to dream into being at the moment, more so than you are allowing yourself to receive. So that's a really big part of this. I can remember, because we bought our house in the Sunshine Coast, it was near the beach, and I can remember the afternoon before the auction of buying our house, and I had this real steady peace. Yes, there were moments of trepidation, of, I could even maybe say anxiety, but beneath it all, it was a relaxed knowing What's for me can't miss me, and I'm available, and I can let go and trust in the unfolding of this process. Which brings me to the next point which is like this final step, be in the energy of it is done. This is certainty, my friends. It is done. And it's the antidote to worry, to fear, to trying to figure it out. What do you have certainty in? You have certainty in yourself, in who you are, tapped into the greater consciousness. You have certainty in the universe. You trust in yourself. You trust in the universe. And these go hand in hand, you guys. In order to have that trust in the universe, we have to have trust in ourselves. We're not separate from that. We are one with Source. So, can you have certainty in the bigger picture, in the bigger unfolding? And then you are going to be asked in this process, you're going to be asked to step forward, to make moves as the evidence, as the validation, rather than waiting for the evidence. And this part people struggle with a lot because we're so used to the outside world confirming for us, giving us validation, telling us whether we're doing the right thing. We look outside more than we look inside, and this needs to change. And this is the invitation to move into soul-led authority, which is the work that I do with women. You are here to become that evidence, to be that evidence, to be the signal, the cause, and life will rearrange to reflect that. But it is going to ask you to go first. We are at the moment, and this is just a small manifestation, but if we're talking about manifesting things, we're wanting to put in a fireplace in our home. I'm like, I'm just going to see it. I'm going to manifest it. I'm going to see it. I'm just going to see it in our home. Like it's already there. Right? You might see this with a car, with whatever is this kind of thing that you want to manifest. And then we can see it, we can visualize it, we can ask for it. And then we need to take the steps. We need to start to take the steps. So maybe this is a dream holiday you're wanting to manifest, or a car. And if you feel like you don't have the resources for that right now, and what would it be like for you to go to a travel agent and get a brochure? What would it be like for you we start to move as the version of ourselves, right? That $1 million version or that multi-million dollar version that stretches the current identity. We start to ask, well, what would she do? Well, if I was wanting to buy a car, I would go and I would test drive a car. I would go and I would show up. If I'm wanting to manifest a loving relationship, right, then maybe I would really take care to perhaps buy some new towels, or buy a new toothbrush for my partner. I would start to just make the moves as the version of me that's already living that reality. This is powerful because then we shift from the waiting. I'm going to wait until I'm in that. I'm going to wait until, like, one of the houses that we bought, and this was before this one, before we even bought the house, I saw it, I felt it, I envisaged it, we looked at the house, but it wasn't ours. We hadn't even begun negotiating. But I looked at this beautiful wraparound veranda because it was a Queenslander house. And I thought, gosh, I could see a chair, like one of those beautiful hanging chairs. I could see a hanging chair there. So what did I do? I didn't even know if this house was going to be in our budget. I didn't even know if we were going to be able to get it for the price that we wanted. I went and I bought the hanging chair. I went and made a move as if it's already done. I went and made a move as the version of me who's living in that house. So these are the kind of steps that we're going to be asked to make that might not make logical sense before the evidence. I didn't have the evidence that we were getting that house. I didn't even have the evidence that it was in our budget. But I saw that, and I knew that the version of me who had this house, who'd signed off on the dotted line, paid the deposit, she'd probably go and buy that chair. And that was something that I could afford in that moment. That was some move that I could make that stretched me, but also felt available. And I did that. And it always paid off. You have to make moves for the universe to come in. And this is about creating channels of abundance for the universal supply to come in and fill and flow through. So rather than sitting back and waiting for you to have the money in the bank, what if you started to give the universe opportunities for provision, to give the universe opportunities to fill that cup in certain areas? And this is how we work with the divine. This is how we work with universal intelligence. So making the moves is important. And the other thing to understand within all of this that I think is so important to speak to in the manifestation space, because often we hinge our emotions, we hinge of feeling a certain way on the result, on getting the thing. And I really want to squash that here because that's not the case. Everything that you desire or everything that you desire to feel, because it's always the feeling that we're after. Like even when you buy new clothes, it's not the clothes, it's how it makes you feel. When you're driving in that car, how it makes you feel. When you're waking up in that dream home, how it makes you feel, right? We have access to that right now. Everything that you're hoping to receive from this manifestation, and by the way, I do suggest you get curious to what's under the hood, what's beneath it. Why do I want this thing? Why do I want to be in this loving soulmate relationship? Why do I want that home? Why do I want to drive that car? Is it so it will look good? Is it so like my friends will be impressed? Like really unearth the anchor, the feeling anchor that's beneath the desire. This is really important. Okay, so if it's love you want to experience, if it's freedom, if it's expansion, if it's joy, if it's accomplishment, how can you start to tap into that now? Because that is available, all of that. It's an illusion for you to think that that comes when you get the thing. We have to reverse engineer this process. It comes from you, it starts with you. And this is the juicy, beautiful, powerful inner work. When you can master this, you stop looking outside for the things. You need less of the things because you trust that what is for you naturally comes into your life when you live from this place of soul alignment. You don't need to look for it. It shows up and you learn how to work with your desires, how to work with the soul guidance that's coming through, leading you. So that's what I wanted to share today. If you want to know how to do this work, if you want the support, this is what we can dive into more in a manifestation mentoring session, which is the deeper work. It's the deeper work beneath all of this. And as I said, the manifestation is just the end byproduct, but it's not the whole piece. It's just the part of the piece. The real piece is who you are becoming and who you're here to become, which is your higher self, which is your soul essence. We're also going to be doing more of this work in identity evolution, in soul alignment, in becoming your most magnetic self in my upcoming 3-month program that starts in June, which is called Soul Power. And you can get the details of that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, review this podcast, share it with someone that you love. Reach out to me if it struck a chord, or give us a comment in YouTube or Spotify. Take care.